Michael Sean Hickenbottom, and I will never not be amused by the surname Hickenbottom, was born in Chandler, Arizona. Less than 40 miles from that city stands the University of Phoenix Stadium. After a career spanning 22 years in circumnavigating the globe, the Heartbreak Kid returned to the state of his birth to end his career. Like they had the year before, Undertaker and Shawn Michaels provided the most notable match of the WrestleMania card, this time taking their rightful place in the main event. It was a fantastic match, paling only next to the earlier classic between Bret Hart and Vince McMahon, which I can comfortably say is the greatest match in the history of sarcasm. I'm Adam from WhatCulture.com, and here are 10 fascinating facts about WrestleMania 26. Number 10, Hideo Itami was in attendance for WrestleMania weekend. Itami would receive a WrestleMania moment of sorts when he took part in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal preceding WrestleMania 31. However, the first brush that Itami would have with any Mania came 4 years earlier before he signed with WWE. Before rechristening himself Hideo Itami, he was known as Kenta, which is in capitals because you have to shout the name. I'm kidding, I know it's a tradition in Japanese wrestling. At the time, Kenta was one of pro wrestling Noah's premier athletes and most gifted junior heavyweight marvels. At the time of WrestleMania 26, he was out of action with a long-term knee injury, but despite that, Kenta made the trip to Glendale in order to be present for Antonio Inoki's Hall of Fame induction. Number 9, his match with Sheamus was Triple H's first non-world title match in 9 years. To give you an idea of just how married to the main event scene Triple H had been for the decade prior to WrestleMania 26, his mid-card match with Sheamus was his first Mania in something other than a World Championship match since 2001, when he warred with Bertie Badass Big Bikes. Not counting WrestleMania 23, which he missed due to a torn quadriceps, Helmsley's previous 7 WrestleMania matches had been for World Championships. Even his bout a year prior to X7 was a WWF Championship bout, concluding WrestleMania 2000. That also makes 6 of previous 10 WrestleManias that Triple H took part in the evening's final match. It's all about the game, and it doesn't really matter if you're playing, because he's in the main event. F*** yourself. Number 8, CM Punk was supposed to turn Rey Mysterio's kids against him. Punk truly found his calling in the latter half of 2009, going full zealot, becoming the Charles Manson of designated drivers. His feud with Rey Mysterio was unusual in that Ray had to take a contrary stance to someone advocating clean living, but the feud was almost a lot crazier. The original idea for the story, and an obvious crib from the Sandman's 1996 infamous feud with Raven in ECW, where the latter basically stole the Sandman's family, like Raven, Punk was intended to become friendlier with Ray's children, Aaliyah and Dominic, slowly turning them against their dad. WWE ended up nixing the edgy idea, believing it was too over the line for their family-oriented product. Just going to leave this picture of the custody papers in the bank ladder match here. Number 7, Rey Mysterio's entrance experienced a malfunction. Mysterio's standard WWE entrance consisted of him being shot into the air through a trapdoor on the entrance stage beneath a flurry of pyrotechnics. It was such a staple of Mysterio's WWE identity that naturally people took its execution for granted. On the night of WrestleMania 26, with the biggest wrestling audience of the year watching, things went whoopsie. Mysterio's POD theme music blared and the fireworks shot off, but there was no Mysterio to be seen. During the original broadcast, the home viewer was treated to an extended shot of CM Punk waiting patiently in the ring, followed by a quick cut to a bewildered Mysterio in his Avatar-themed costume standing on the entrance stage. Turned out the trapdoor had broken, and it wouldn't elevate him for his big jump. What 70,000 fans saw during the extended televised shot of Punk was Mysterio meekly crawling out of the hole in the stage before executing his pose. That is awkward and adorable. Number 6, Bret Hart's family tried to change the booking. Natalya and Tyson Kidd were 2 of the 3 junior Harts with Harry Smith that got a bit of a shine as lumberjacks in Bret Hart's eventual win over Vince McMahon. All of Bret's living siblings were present that weekend for the Hall of Fame induction of Father Stu, and according to Kidd and Natalya on an episode of Talk is Jericho, a few of them got overexcited. When McMahon sat down with Bret and his family to go over the match design, Bret's older brother Bruce tried to redesign huge chunks of the match and even began pitching ideas for SummerSlam before Bret told him to know his role and shut his mouth. At one point during the trouble planning session, Bret's sister Ellie requested that husband Jim the Anvil Neidhart have some involvement. Bret's sister Allison then confronted John Laurinaitis because she was hungry and didn't feel like she should have to pay for her own meals. They're a fun family, the Harts. Number 5, Vince McMahon reportedly said that the Hart match was the end of the Mr. McMahon character. Throughout his 50s and even early 60s, Vince McMahon could be counted upon to deliver an unhinged WrestleMania performance when necessary. Simply put, nobody sells a one-sided beatdown quite like Crazy Vincent. At age 64, McMahon tangled with the Hitman in a match that moved slower than Evolution with a broken leg, which is a shame because McMahon had reportedly claimed to others within the company that the match with Hart was the end of the Mr. McMahon character. It made sense that Montreal Screwjob gave birth to Mr. McMahon, so it made sense for Bret to kill him off. However, the match was crap, and Evil Vince has popped up a few times since, most notably tied in with the Authority. His only official match since the loss to Hart was a bizarre brawl with CM Punk on Raw in October 2012, which was as a babyface. Number 4, the Chris Jericho-Edge match was planned 9 months in advance. In June 2009, Jericho and Edge found themselves in the midst of one of the strangest weeks of their respective professional lives. It began Sunday at the Bash when the thrown together duo won the Unified Tag Team Championships. It would end Friday night in San Diego when Edge ruptured his Achilles tendon during a house show match with Jeff Hardy, necessitating Big Show swapping in as Jericho's new partner. Between those 2 days, Jericho and Edge had sat down with Vince and Creative and mapped out a long-form plan for WrestleMania 26, where the two would face off after breaking up in the interim time. Edge's injury almost derailed the plan entirely, but he made it back in time for the Royal Rumble, winning the 30-man gauntlet and renewing his rivalry with Y2J. Number 3, Mickie James nearly missed WrestleMania with a serious infection. Mickie James' last WWE pay-per-view match before her return a few months ago was at WrestleMania 26, with her taking part in a 10-diva tag that barely lasted a few minutes. While it wasn't the best display for the popular former champion, she's lucky she even made it to WrestleMania at all. About a month before Mania, Mickie was pulled from the road with a staph infection in her leg. In her words, the infection, which she believed was caused by a bug bite, had swollen one of her knees to the same circumference as her thigh. She was told by her doctor that she came very close to requiring a leg amputation had she waited any longer to seek treatment. Luckily, she retained possession of all 4 limbs and was back on the road the week before Mania. Number 2, The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels lobbied for JR to call their match. The Streak vs. Career match was, pardon my Belgian, f***ing huge as motherfucking Either HBK's career or the streak was going to end that night. Mental. To suit the occasion, the two legends lobbied for a third, Jim Ross, to be on call for their showdown. Ross hadn't been seen since an October 2009 recurrence of Bell's palsy, but was apparently well enough to call the finish of WrestleMania 26. Sadly, he didn't, because Vince put his foot down, decreeing that WrestleMania should be called by the announced team of Michael Cole, Jerry Lawler, and Matt Striker. At least when Shawn Michaels gave his farewell speech the following night on Raw, he got to thank Ross immensely, even making a point to emphasize that Ross was the greatest wrestling announcer of all time. Sorry, Cole. And number 1, Shawn Michaels became the first person to log 300 minutes in WrestleMania matches. Following WrestleMania 26, Chris Harrington, wrestling statistician extraordinaire, took the liberty of adding up the match times of various WrestleMania performers and revealed that the now retired Michaels was the first man in the history of Mania to break the 300-minute mark. Across his 17 WrestleMania matches, the Heart Rate Kid totaled 301.5 minutes, helped along by the 62-minute Iron Man match of WrestleMania 12. Of Michaels' 17 Mania matches, 15 went beyond 10 minutes, all but his first 2, 10 of them went beyond 20 minutes, and a pair went past 30. In more ways than one, Shawn Michaels was truly Mr. WrestleMania. And that's our list. Did we miss any out? Tell us about it in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter here, and you can follow Justin Henry, the man who writes these articles, on Twitter here. I'm Adam from WhatCulture.com, and I'll see you soon.